What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the NamaSLAY Podcast, a podcast dedicated to uplifting the soul and creating positive, goal-oriented talk. So today on the podcast, I have a very special guest. Her name is Tarra Stubbins, and she is a celebrity concierge and also a accountability and time management coach. Man, you are so interesting. I'm so happy to have you. How is your day going?
Oh, it's going great. How are you? And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, no problem at all. Honestly, I think everybody's going to be super interested in what you do. So let's just start off with telling everybody a little bit about what it means to be a celebrity concierge.
That's kind of a loaded question, right? Because it really means a lot of different things. But I help a lot of high-profile, high-net-worth individuals maintain their everyday lives. So whether it's managing their homes, managing their calendars, managing their staff, just whatever they need to become more successful and to maintain their own lives, I jump in and help.
Wow. And how did you get into this? Like what? Because obviously you created your own business, and I read that you've had it running for 10 plus years now.
Yes.
Which is pretty amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. So I started it in 2007. So a long time ago. Wow. No business background at all. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was out on the road. I was a personal assistant for the Rolling Stones for Mick Jagger.
What? How cool.
I know. As I just name drop a little bit there.
Hey, do it. We want to hear all the names.
And I was living on a tour bus for, 300 days a year, not necessarily in a row. We would have a little bit of time off, but it's a crazy life. Everyone thinks that the rock and roll life is like glamorous and all that, but it's not. It's really tiring. It's hard work. Right. It's emotionally draining. I loved being a personal assistant, and I wanted to figure out how I could help more people than just kind of running after one rock star at a time, and also be able to stay as local as possible. Wow. So I opened up Take It Easy. No really idea what I was doing, and here I am today.
Wow. And I saw a ton of your YouTube videos because once I heard about you, I just got so excited, and I watched, you did tons of interviews on like breakfast television and whatnot. Yeah. And I saw that it looks like you do a lot of work during TIFF.
I do.
What are the kinds of things that you do during TIFF?
So very luckily and honored to be the celebrity concierge, the official concierge for the film festival.
Really? So it's just you and your business?
So as their concierge, yes. Cool. Yes. There's a lot of people who work for the film festival that time, but yes. So we help them set up their dressing rooms if they have an event, their hotel rooms. Sometimes we pick them up from the airport or shuttle them back and forth from their event. We're also the ones who will go to like the restaurants or the clubs where they have the after parties and make sure that they're comfortable, and also make sure that, which I find really fun, that they have a way out, like through the kitchen or whatever. So when they're done, they can look at us and we're like, come through this door, and then, they magically disappear.
That's probably really important. I can imagine all the screaming fans. Although I don't know if Toronto's that crazy. Have you seen a bit of a crazy fan base here?
Well, at TIFF, I think people usually go a bit insane. They kind of like lose their Toronto vibe and kind of go more Hollywood. But yeah, no, it's definitely not like, New York or LA.
Cool. And I also heard that you do a lot of personal shopping for the celebrities, which is cool. What's the craziest thing you've bought for a celebrity?
I always like to tell my story during TIFF. One of the really famous actors that was here wanted 20 pairs of Lululemon underwear. What? But like very specific kind. So, and like he wanted them, of course, now. Everyone always asks why, and I always say, like, I don't ask why anymore. I would probably pull out my hair if I asked why for everything. So I ran over to the Inn Center, to the Lululemon store, and they didn't have them. So I had to become creative, think outside the box. So I bought Lululemon, just any brand, Lululemon underwear, 20 pairs, and then I went and I bought 20 pairs of other underwear that looked like the kind he wanted, and cut the Lululemon band out of, and then had a friend help me sew them. We gave them to him. He didn't say anything.
Wow.
So like, I think we pulled the wool over his eyes. I don't know.
Oh my God, that's amazing. You're so crafty to be able to do that. I would have been like, all right, sorry, I can't do it.
Well, that's the thing. You can't say no to these people,
up.
right? And you can't give up. So
do you ever think they ask for a silly request just to see if you can do it?
well, yeah, like that's where the whole brown M&Ms and riders came from, right? So
Yes.
to make sure that you were reading them. But I think these people just, they don't, like, it's all they know. They only know to ask for whatever kind of pops into their head, and then it miraculously appears.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's so cool. Yeah, I actually did see a couple of your DIY videos. What inspires you to I mean, I guess you have to create them sometimes, right? There's some things that you just can't get a hold of and you have to create it. Do you ever, are you like a Pinterest person? You scroll through to get ideas, or do you just, I don't know.
I actually run to my mother, who I swear is like Martha Stewart
Really?
reincarnated. Yeah. So
Yes.
like Martha Stewart's twin or whatever. So I'm like, help, I need to do this. And she like does it, and she doesn't even ask. At first she'd be like, who's it for? Don't tell, or I won't tell anyone. You have to tell me I'm your mother.
You have to. I mean, she is your mother.
Yeah. And then, so she's kind of like my secret weapon.
That's amazing. That's cool. Do you have any fun stories
Of a situation.
that, I don't know, really shook you, but you were able to accomplish it?
Well, it's interesting that you say shook me, because I feel like I'm the type of person who doesn't really get like shaken by anything.
Oh, then you're the perfect entrepreneur. So I feel like every entrepreneur I talk to, they have so many ups and downs, and they really like a lot of it is just managing their emotions, it feels like.
It's true. It's true. And being a business owner, like, I don't want to sit here and say that it's easy and that every day is perfect for me. Like, it's not. I've definitely been through the ringer with owning a business for as long as I have. Having staff work with me is always very difficult, because, you know, they never have the same vision for your business as you do. But I try not to take anything personally. Right. And I think that that's a very good lesson in life, because people aren't, you know, making you have a bad day just because they want you to have a bad day, or doing things. And you kind of have to separate out business and personal. And as soon as I did that, I learned that, yeah, anything's really possible, especially when you're working with like high profile, high net worth individuals. I find that their emotions are like a huge roller coaster. And if you get on that ride with them, like, it's very tiring. So you just have to kind of separate yourself. I learned that I'm not there to be their friend. I'm there to work with them and to make sure that they can be the best selves that they can be. And that's it. I don't want to go for drinks with them after. I don't want to take selfies with them after. Like, that's meant for their friends. I'm like an employee of theirs.
Wow, that's super professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of have to be, or else you can't. Yeah, you just get too. I've heard millions of stories of like other personal assistants who've worked with celebrities who, you know, and you even see it on the TV shows, like the Kardashians with their personal assistant. I can't remember her name right now, who like lives in the guest house, right?
Yeah, and I remember they had drama with their makeup artist at one point. Yeah,
and it's because they become friends.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. So
yeah. Very interesting. And I mean, I guess that's also why people come to you, right? Because they want you to take a load off of their shoulders. And you even called your brand Take It Easy, right?
Exactly.
So you are there to really just help manage their emotions and help them relax.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And just, as you said, just take anything off of their plate so they can succeed, so they can be, better people.
Cool. All right. So I know that you also are a time management and accountability coach, and I'm not going to lie. So I'd recently, before you, I didn't even know that there was such a thing as an accountability coach until I watched The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Everybody says this.
Yes. And honestly, I kind of like fell in love with the girl there. I think she's just awesome. And I've been, my brain has just been so interested in this ever since. Can you just talk a little bit about what you do in that sense?
Sure. So as you mentioned, I'm an entrepreneur, and that's kind of what I am first and foremost. And I found that when I started my business in 2007, there was not the resources out there as there are now for, there wasn't co-working spaces. There wasn't anything. I was kind of in it alone, and I had to figure it out. And I found out that I had no one to hold me accountable for anything, any of my visions, my bookkeeping. If I didn't want to do it, I didn't do it. Like no one was, helping me along. I was in it by myself. And until I realized that like I had to push myself to do these things, no one else was going to do it for me, I could succeed more. But now that I help other entrepreneurs who have kind of a goal or a vision that they want to take to the next level, but they can't figure out how to do it. So I tie that in with time management. So I help them break their goal down into actionable steps and then fit those actionable steps into their calendar and then hold them accountable for achieving those actionable steps.
Yeah, because often I feel like there's just never enough time in a day. And and just figuring out, I'm someone that I just have so many goals and so many ideas and things that I want to get done. But it's like you got to really figure out what's most important in that day and, and be able to not be guilty afterwards if you don't do it.
Exactly.
Do you find that that's common?
Well, I find that people have the wrong idea of what time management really is. So sometimes people think that time management is about, getting to inbox zero or, which I hate because you're at inbox zero for 3 seconds and then you get another email and then like, what do, right? Or shaving minutes off of your commute or errands or whatever. But I don't think that's what time management is. I think time management is about filling your day with meaningful moments that will ultimately create the life that you want to live. So if you are filling your life with, stuff that isn't a priority, I think that you need to reevaluate exactly how you're spending your time and focus on how you want to live your life and then bring it back to what tasks you're going to do in the day to help you get there.
Oh, cool. Yes.
So I really think that like anybody can be a celebrity. Anybody can do what they're doing. Maybe they have a talent for acting or singing or dancing that you might not necessarily have. I know I can't dance. I'm not going to be a professional, even if I really, really try. But it's about really focusing like what you really want to do. And like they weren't given, a lot of the celebrities weren't given, handed this status on a silver platter. Sure. They worked very, very, very hard at it. Yes. And really anybody can work as hard as they can with that focus.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I actually know many people that have made it to celebrity status at this point. And just from, going to drama art school, and truly every single person that has made it in, whatever you call made it, they have worked their butts off.
Yeah, but they've worked their butts off in a very focused way.
Right.
So they've figured out, tasks that are good for them to do and tasks they're just not going to do or tasks that they're going to delegate or leave for later. So it's a very kind of calculated way to get what you want to get.
Awesome. And do you have any like tips or tools that you could recommend to everyone listening on how they can do that?
Yeah. So my number one tip would be to analyze how you're spending your time. Okay. So over a week, try to write down every 15 minutes what you're doing. And then you can see at the end of the week, I'm spending 75% of my time, at work. And I really don't want that. I want to only spend 50% of my time at work and 50% of my time with family or whatever it is. Right. Maybe I'm spending 75% of my time cleaning my house. Why am I doing that? Or
distraction.
Yeah, exactly. Procrastination. Yeah. So really analyze your time and then you can figure out kind of ways that you can, cut or delegate or reevaluate your time.
I really love that the iPhone has incorporated the social media.
It's
or letting
scary,
you,
isn't
yeah,
it?
Yes, it is. But it actually has helped me see that, oh my God, I'm on Instagram way too much. And I've totally cut back ever since I started using it.
I know.
I think it's a great tool.
Yeah, I think so too. I really do. And Instagram and social media and all that really are kind of rabbit hole time wasters, right?
You don't even think though. Like you're scrolling through and then you go, a half an hour passed?
I know.
It's wild.
I know.
It sucks you in.
Yeah, it does. And that kind of brings me to another point too, is try to put your phone down as much as possible and concentrate on one task at a time. So everyone thinks, I'm a time management superstar. I can multitask. Well, multitasking actually doesn't work. Right. It takes your brain about 12 seconds to switch from one task to another task. So even if you're, doing this and doing that, your brain is constantly switching back and forth. So you're actually wasting time by trying to multitask. Yeah. So concentrate on one task at a time. I always say to write everything in your calendar. It's my favorite time management tip. So every task you have to do, every errand, every email follow-up, everything, write it in your calendar so you know exactly when you're going to accomplish what you want to do. Because I find if you have a to-do list and then your calendar, they never sync. You're always trying to play catch up or find the time to go to the dry cleaners or run grocery errands or whatever it is. So yeah, actually put that in your calendar and you'll get a lot more accomplished.
Yeah, I have a lot of Post-it notes with all my to-dos, and actually I just bought some new ones. I thought maybe you'd be proud. I don't know. I left it there.
I am proud.
The colorful ones, though, they really help. Are you about, do you know about like the planning community? I'm assuming you do. I'm all about like stickering, and the color really does help, I think. It motivates you. Do you believe that at all?
I do. I color coordinate everything. Okay. So I actually have a like a day planner that I use, like a physical day planner. I don't necessarily carry it around with me all the time, but I will put everything in it and I will look at it the night before to see what I want to accomplish and kind of what my next day is going to be like, instead of picking up my phone. Because I find if I pick up my phone, I'm going to, check Facebook, check Instagram, and then there goes and then I forget why I actually picked up the phone.
Oh, that happens to me all the time. Like,
but if I have a physical planner, I can concentrate on what I'm doing and what I'm going to be doing next. And I color coordinate it and I use stickers because that calms me.
It just makes it so much more fun, right?
I know. I feel like I'm back in grade 5 and I just love it.
Well, you know what? I'm a little bit dyslexic, and actually I read that for people that are dyslexic, if you use specific colors, you have to do a test in order to figure it out, but specific colors can actually help you be more motivated to read and get things done. So
that's amazing.
I'm specifically drawn to yellow, so I use that.
That's cool. I love it. I really love it. Yeah.
I saw that you recommended a few apps for productivity. Could you name some of them for everyone listening?
Sure. So, my number one app, and it's not really an app, but it's definitely the calendar on your phone. So as I said, put everything in your calendar and try to set a reminder of where you need to be or what you need to do next, or a hard stop if you want to, only work on, say, your bookkeeping for 25 minutes.
Right.
And then talking about staying focused and working on one task at a time. My absolute favorite new app is called Forest. And it's really, really cool because you set the timer on the phone and you plant a tree on the app. So say you want to, again, work on your business bookkeeping for 25 minutes. So you set the timer for 25 minutes, you plant a little tree, and then you put your phone down and the tree grows for 25 minutes.
Aww.
I know, it's really great. And then if you go out of the app in that 25 minutes to check your phone or to do something, you kill the tree.
No.
So I know. And what's really neat about it is every tree you plant virtually, they plant a real tree in the forest.
What?
Yeah.
Do they tell you where?
Yeah, they do. So it's whatever forest they're working on that needs rejuvenation, reforestation.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
How motivating is that?
I know. And what's really neat is you can use it in your business life, but also your personal life. So I know I'm really bad when I go out with friends. I'm the one who's like constantly checking my phone. My excuse is my clients need me, but I'm never focused on, my friends or my family or whatever. I'm kind of multitasking. I'm doing both.
Sure.
So this you can set for an hour dinner, put it down, and it forces you to stay present and focused with whoever you're with.
Oh, I'm going to tell my boyfriend about this.
Plant the tree.
He has a habit of being on his phone at all times. I love it. Have you ever heard of Gretchen Rubin, the Happiness Project girl? She has that 4-quadrant book.
Yes.
I assumed that you did. And I haven't read it, but I know all about it. And I actually wrote it down, that there are 4 tendencies, she says, in terms of how you're motivated. So there's the upholders, the questioners, the obligers, and the rebels. So for my first question, since you've already read it, it was going to be, do you believe in this and these ideas?
Well, so there's a million productivity, motivation, planning books, time management books out there. There's so many. And I find it very confusing and complicated because everyone says something that contradicts what the other person says.
Right.
So I personally believe that you need to figure out what works for you, and you need to stick to one. You can't stick to it and be like, oh, it's not really working after trying it for, 2 days, and then read another book and then move on to the other one. Yes, it may not work for you, but give it some time. And then if it, isn't working for you, then try something else. But I think that, again, we need to stay focused. And, my time management techniques may not work for other people. Right. But I truly believe that, that's a great book, and that may work for those techniques may work for you,
right?
But they may not work for one of the listeners,
Right.
So,
yeah, I just found really interesting, you have to kind of go through it all, but basically, I guess, the rebels are people that resist any kinds of tasks. The obligers are people that are motivated by outwardly and people from the outside watching them. Questioners just sort of question everything. And the upholders, they're self-motivated and motivated by the outside world. And I have noticed that I'm way more motivated if I have an outwardly expectation for me. Like, for example, my podcast, because I put it out there and everyone's expecting an episode every week, I'm motivated to get it out there, right?
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of it's weird, and I would love to get to a point where I guess I am an upholder too. I don't know. There's a gray area, I think.
I also feel like that is holding yourself accountable too. So
right.
It's forcing you. You've set this deadline for yourself of, a podcast every week. So now you have to hold yourself accountable to get that podcast out there every week.
Right.
Yeah. So it all comes back to accountability, really.
Right. Amazing. Okay, cool. And I was just curious if, obviously you've owned your business for 10 plus years. Is there something that you have learned throughout all these years that you would love to share with everybody?
I've learned so many things.
Of course.
I have a really fun story because I'm old.
No, you're not.
When I started my business, there was a thing called the Yellow Pages that still existed.
Oh my God. I remember those.
Back when VHS tapes were still
I still have all my VHS.
Okay.
Do you?
Yeah,
I do. You have to, right? Like all the old Disney ones.
Well, I don't have those. Being a personal organizer, I have gotten rid of those. But
True.
Ones with family videos, I still have. But I remember when I started my business, I put an ad in the Yellow Pages, and I spent a lot of money. It was expensive. And I remember the day they were being delivered, I sat by my phone. I literally thought that everyone was going to call now that I put an ad in the Yellow Pages. And I was like, oh, maybe that was too many people, right? So then I put an ad in Toronto Life magazine, which was so expensive, and I thought the same thing, and I didn't get it. So that whole advertising, marketing angle that I had to very expensively learn myself was a real lesson for me.
You know what though? I feel like that's hard to determine. I feel like don't you think it's probably one of those things you just have to try it and then you'll figure out what works?
Yep, exactly. You figure out what works for your business.
Yeah.
Like
when we've had garage sales in the past, you post an ad in the newspaper and you get so many people showing up. So
it's true.
I was so surprised. We got 50 people.
Whoa.
From a little $5 ad. It was great.
That's amazing. I think another huge lesson that I've learned too, now that kind of the Yellow Pages are out and social media is that being an entrepreneur is really a thing these days.
Sure.
Everyone's an entrepreneur. I really find that everyone sees on Instagram or whatever that glamorous coffee meetings and networking events and all that, but it's not like that at all. No. It really is lonely moments in your home, working away or, a coffee shop or a co-working space or whatever, but you're really in it yourself. It's kind of a lonely life, and you really have to push yourself to where you want to go and be able to ride the waves too, because obviously not everything is going to work out all sparkly and glamorous like we see on social. So yeah, really being able to know you're still okay. Maybe that didn't work out, but something else will. That
is probably one of the most common things I've heard from all the entrepreneurs that I've had on my podcast, say that it is quite lonely because you're you have to dedicate a lot of your time and life to it, right?
Exactly.
In order for yourself to grow. And, even just with this podcast, since creating it, I don't have much time on my hands with this. And then I'm trying to do other things. And people that aren't entrepreneurs, your friends, they don't necessarily understand how much actual work it is.
Yeah, exactly. I heard a really great analogy a while ago, and it was from a lady who was like, opening up my own business or starting my own business was like birthing a baby. Not necessarily like the pain or whatever, but like the commitment. People, your friends are like, hey, you want to go out? And if you had a baby at home, you'd be like, no, I have to look after the baby, and no one would think about it. Right. But sometimes people will say like, oh, you don't have to work till 8:00 at night. But like sometimes I do when it's starting. Sometimes I don't, but sometimes I do. And tonight's the night that I do. So, I'm looking after my baby at home.
Yeah, I actually had to learn that because I am a bit of a people pleaser, and I would, say yes to everything because that, fear of missing out. And then I slowly realized, oh yeah, no, I have to learn to realize that this is important to me. And I would also feel kind of upset and annoyed that I would say yes to everything, and then it would be reflected onto my friends, and that's not okay. Nope. And I got to a point when I realized, no, I just need to stand my ground and be okay that I choose my business right now, and I choose, focusing on my stuff.
Absolutely. And you started your business because it's something that you're passionate and you love, so you should continue doing it. And it shouldn't feel like a grind every day, and going back to the time management, it should really be creating the life that you want to live. And if that's through owning a business, then that's great.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. All right. Well, just a couple more things. I always love to ask my guests if they have a goal that they're working on right now, because that's just, I don't know, one of my favorite things to talk about. So do you have something that you're focused on?
So many
of
goals.
Course. I mean.
Where do we start?
One you would just love to share.
Well, I always love sharing my little personal goals because I feel like we talk about business goals so much. So my partner and I just recently purchased a piece of land in the Adirondacks, so upstate New York. Wow. We have about 7 acres there. And it's, cool. It's on this beautiful river, and right now there's nothing built. So I'm really, really working very hard to put all of my money into building a little kind of dream cabin getaway, because the ultimate life that I want to live is to be able to kind of run away from the chaos a little bit and to, decharge or to recharge, I guess, and to have a little downtime and to just kind of be me, because I have to be on a lot, and I don't mind it. I love it, but sometimes I need to, turn off for a while.
I totally get that. That sounds amazing.
I know. I'm very excited.
Wow. Yeah. I said that for me, my ultimate life, I would just love to go to Europe once a year. That's what I would love to do.
But you can create that.
Yeah.
And I can help you create that if you want.
Let's do it. I love it. Okay. So something fun that I like to do every podcast is, have you ever pulled an angel card before? Or has anyone ever done that for you?
I don't even know what that means.
Yes. Okay. I love educating people on this. Okay. Yay. Are you spiritual or religious or anything?
Spiritual, yes.
Cool. Okay. So angel cards, they're essentially made as more of like a positive version of tarot cards, because there was all this kind of weird, I don't know, people tend to think of tarot cards as being something negative. And so the original creator, funny enough, who created it, she like disowned them, and now she's Christian. So it's kind of funny. She started the whole trend, and then other people created their own version. So this is another person. Her name is Colette Baron Reed. And so basically, it's just like a positive version of tarot, and every episode, I just love pulling a card for my guests.
I'm so excited.
Are you down?
Yes. The other night was a new moon, and I was like sagey, like I was doing it all. Okay. I'm very into this.
Oh, yes. Well, then in that case, right before. Okay, so then what? I'm so interested into if you did your spiritual ideas on life contribute to your success so far?
No, my spiritual ideas on life are actually very, very new to me, and it's because of some of my really amazing celebrity clients who have like brought this to my attention, and have like educated me in ways that I always thought it was like, oh, like crystals, like they're just rocks or whatever. And they've taught me so much about them. Oh, I have crystals all over the place. Wow. They send me to these spiritual healers all the time because like that's what they do. And I'm not doing it because that's what the celebrities do. Sure. I could really care less, but it's how they've educated me about it. And it's kind of like resonated with me.
That's fantastic. That's so cool. What do you have something in particular that has stood out to you that a particular celebrity has told you?
Yeah. So one of my celebrities that I love talking about all the time is Sandra Bullock.
What?
Who is obsessed with crystals and like natural healing and just.
She never talks about that.
No. So that's very, very private.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. She has like a healer that she goes to that's like $10,000 an hour. I know, it's kind of crazy. Who lives in Calgary. I don't know how, and like helps everybody in LA. It's crazy. Wow. Yeah, this secret person in Calgary. But she when I walked into her home for the first time, it was the feeling I got from her home. It was like so calm, and it was like it just felt like home. And I've never felt that for any celebrity I've ever walked, or any home I've ever walked into that's not like mine or my family's. And I said to her, I was like, wow, your place really feels like calming and at home. And she said, everyone says that, and it's because of the work I do with like my crystals and my like candles and all of this. And I was like, yeah. And then she sat down and we like started talking about it, and it wasn't like a forced conversation. It was just over time. And then I kind of started putting them in my own home, and you can really feel like a different presence in there.
Sure can, man.
Yeah.
I have a whole fishbowl filled with rocks and crystals. I'm a big believer in it too. Cool. Fantastic. Well, these are the oracle cards. So basically what I'm going to do is I'll get you to think of a question in particular, or if you just want general knowledge, whatever you like, you can let me know. I'm going to shuffle the cards as you think about it, and then I'll pull you one card, and hopefully it gives you an answer to whatever you like.
Okay. So do I have to share the question?
Sure. If you have a specific one, or if you just want general knowledge. Let's hear it.
So my question would be, will my business ever be as successful as I really want it to be?
Okay. All right. So would you like to pull the card, or do you want me to pull it?
I don't know. What works better?
You know what? I think I just always go with it. I don't know if there's a better way. I think it's just you pull based on your energy and what you're looking for. All right.
Oh, that one's talking to us.
This is the one
then.
Yep. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Wow. You know what? Usually there's one card that flies out, so this is perfect. Okay, so this is the River Queen, and it represents flow and letting go.
Oh.
So I'll give you that to take a look. Basically, any thoughts, feelings, ideas, sensations that you get just by looking at the card and from what I'm going to read for you is relevant to what you need to know. Okay? All right. Ooh, I'm getting shivers. That was really cool. Okay. The River Queen flows into your life as an ally to remind you about the concept of allowing and the law of non-attachment. Remember that all rivers come from the mountains and run to the sea to be absorbed by the larger body of water. There, the liquid evaporates into clouds that rain on the mountains to continue an endless cycle of fluidity. The River Queen requires you to be fluid and to let go of rigidity and perfectionism. You will travel far as long as you let go and let flow, even maneuvering around the greatest blockages like water streams around big boulders. Are there any big boulders or water streams near where your new
There's
cottage
2
is?
dams.
I just kept thinking about that, but I don't think this is relevant to that. No obstacle can hold you back now if you're willing to surrender to the natural flow of events. Be easy on yourself and others and watch how smoothly you move forward. You may be surprised where the river takes you. Wow.
That's really cool.
I think it's certainly spot on into what you asked. So.
I think so too. And the fact that it's river and my new property
has
is on a river. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I think it's very cool.
Shivers. I love it.
Thank you. That was really cool.
Amazing. Well, honestly, I had such a great time. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Honestly, this was so lovely. So I have a little motto at the end of my podcast I love to say. So basically it goes as this. This goes as follows. Can't speak. The grass is greenest where you are right now. So I just love repeating that and reminding everyone to be grateful and just present and where you are right now. And just be happy where you are. So thank you so much for listening, guys. And as always, I'm sending you so much love, light, and motivation to go tackle your goals. NamaSLAY.
I was so excited about your card. I was like, oh, I wonder what she's going to pull.
Oh my God, I love it. That was awesome. We can pull one more if you wanted. Too late to see.
No, I want this one.
Perfect. Honestly, so nice.
You know what? It's like, I was getting goosebumps when you were reading it because the fact that you have to like let go and just kind of let the universe do whatever. It's so true because sometimes you try so hard to like get something. I'm gonna get a new client. I'm gonna do this, and this, and then like, or even like when you're dating, it's like I'm gonna date everyone, and then everyone always says like as soon as you stop, it comes into your life, and it's the same with like clients or whatever, right?
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? So Johnny, I'll introduce you to him. He's the creator of Cricket. He actually might want to work with you. When I told him about you, he's like, "This is so cool. Maybe she can help us buy some stuff for the show." So I'm gonna introduce you. But he always says all the time that he always has so like just he's so stressed from all like employees that he has to pay and whatnot. And the second that he just lets go, everything always flows.
Yeah.
So it's literally the key.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I remember a few years ago I had a really good client, really good money paying client, not really good emotional client. And I finally let him go. I was like, we're done. And we had a very bad breakup. It was like bad. And I was like on my couch, like kind of depressed about it because it was like I was thinking about the money and I was thinking about just all these things. And then like as soon as I kind of just let it go, I got like 3 amazing, like some of my best clients. Actually, I think like 3 weeks after that, Sandra came into my life randomly.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so it's just like as soon as I like let it go, it was totally cool.
Yeah. And no, it's the same with anyone I work with. I feel like even just with like things that they want, like press or whatever, the ones that like are so like, what's happening now? What's happening in 2 minutes?
Right.
What's happening in 5 minutes? Like they never, it's like not scientifically proven, but they never get anything. The ones that are just like, okay, just let it go, they get the most.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And I've seen it happen over and over and over again.
It's actually kind of how I built my business.
Yeah.
Because like advertising and all that didn't work, but I just kind of like went with the flow and it's like somehow.
And it's also
meant to be.
freeing, right?
It
like
is.
You're not
Like there's no
stressed.
control. You just gotta have to go with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But to a point of like giving all your energy and working hard, and then like whatever happens, happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to put in the work. You
Yeah.
have to do something.
Yeah, you can't just like sit here.
let it go.
But you know what though? Remember when The Secret came and everyone was
Oh
like,
my God.
you just gotta like think positively, and like that's
No,
not
it
all
works.
there is to it. You have to work at
I
it and
know.
while thinking positively.
I
Obviously.
had a friend who worked for The Secret. I didn't even know that was a thing to do.
No way.
Yeah. And she would always tell me that. She's like, yeah, everyone read it the wrong way. Like they read it how you want to read it.
Yeah,
Or get out
that's
of
true.
it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can be lazy and still have everything I want. It's like, no.
Yeah, no, it can be very surface level. Like it's hard. It's actually hard to understand. And I've read the books as well. And I always tell people that if you're gonna get into The Secret, if you want to learn more about like the law of attraction and all that, like honestly, watch the movie, but read the second book because she has a second book. I forgot what it's called, The Power. And it's that book where she really goes into detail about she really helps you understand the law of attraction and whatnot. Because I feel like the first one doesn't do it enough. It's not detailed enough, I think.
No, it's true. And it's all about like setting intentions too.
Yeah.
Actually, Sandra taught me that.
Did
About like having like one intention that you really want to focus on and not like not like multiple ones.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm successful because I set my intentions to be successful. She's like, and I focused on it. She's like, and that's why I didn't have kids or whatever until later. She adopted.
Yeah.
And she's like, and that's why my relationships suck. She didn't use the word suck. She used. She's like, because I don't focus on that. And she's like, if I switch my attention to focus on that, then I would have good relationships. And she totally knows it and she totally owns it.
She's so level-headed.
Yeah, she is. And she is like in real life. Like it's not just a game she plays.
Well, that's why she can play such powerful characters, right? Because she understands them. She's like, like the one from The Blind Side, like, oh my god, amazing.
Yeah, and you can even like kind of like it's weird, but you can kind of read off of her energy from like her interviews and stuff. You're like, she's someone who like is a good person in the core, right?
Yeah. She's also the only celebrity that I work with where no matter who I talk to, male, female, whatever, and say that I work with Sandra, everybody has the same reaction of, oh my god, I love her. She's so genuine. Like everybody. Nice. Yeah. Everyone else is like has their opinions about everyone, but like she's across the board.
Oh, that's so nice to hear.
That is nice, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you.
Honestly, had so much fun.
No, I just realized we're like matching jeans.
You know what? It's funny because I'm taking this acting class. Yesterday was my first one.
Yeah.
And the teacher commented on my ripped jeans. And he's like, and you came dressed in ripped jeans and whatnot. And like, I literally only own ripped jeans. And he like thought it was a choice. I'm like, no, that's just, I don't have anything else. We got a picture, right?
Yes, I
Perfect.
did. I'll send that to you right now.
Are you still recording?
Oh, yes.
Oh, here, I'll
Video.
stop it.
Perfect.
For more NamaSLAY or to support the NamaSLAY podcast, visit patreon.com/Melissa Melottey.